Want to design characters that won't embarrass you? You've come to the right place. Character design is one of the many responsibilities of a comic artist, and making your character stand out as something unique and original is invaluable to drawing readers into the worlds and stories that you'll be creating. I'm Zach, this is Monstrous Comics. Let's launch straight into the tips. It's vital that your character is immediately recognisable even from a distance. When drawing a long pulled back shot, it's hard to draw the details in accurately. So how do you create a design that looks good and is still distinct even if the character is 30 meters away? A strong silhouette. Look at this silhouette. Is this recognisable or could it be just about anybody? Now look at this one. Immediately it looks distinct and has points of interest in the shapes that are being used. The shapes of the silhouette communicate a lot about your character from a great distance. It's tricky to do, but if you have it in mind when you start sketching, it will lead you to think about these elements as you draw and work them in early. Consider this at every step as you sketch down your ideas. Will adding another detail to the design enhance the uniqueness of the character's silhouette, or just make it harder to read? Also, don't just think of the character's silhouette from a single angle. Will it read as the same character from any angle? See here how you can create a cast of characters immediately distinct from the silhouettes alone? They don't have to be this exaggerated, but it gives a sense of how far you can go. Another great example is to think of each member of the Simpsons family. You can tell who's who immediately from their outline. Can you think of any other great characters who are recognisable purely by their outline? Let me know in the comments. The next tip is to consider the shapes you'll be using to build your characters from. When designing your characters, use shapes that visually signify their personalities. Look at the Pixar movie Up as a really straightforward example of this. You have a square character alongside a round character. So the square guy, Carl, is set in his ways. He comes across as hard and his attitudes are immovable, so square shapes help to convey that personality to the viewer. Meanwhile, the round character, Russell, is open, excitable and bouncy, like a ball, so round shapes fit him well. These shapes make the characters highly distinct from one another whilst amplifying their personalities. These characters are quite extreme in their sense of exaggeration and use of a single shape to convey the characters though. You don't have to let your character be dictated by one shape. Mix them up, but think about what those shapes are subconsciously telling your reader about the character. Hairstyles are important in a design as they can immediately transform a character's silhouette and communicate a lot about their personality and sense of style. If you pick the right haircut, your reader can have a strong sense of the character's personality after just seeing a quick head sketch. Comics are a series of illustrations, and to illustrate is to communicate. So think about how you can communicate your character's personality with a hairstyle. Here are 3 haircuts on the same person. They each transform the character significantly. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but bear in mind that a certain haircut on one character could say something different about them than it might on another character. So think about how you combine haircuts with faces, poses, and outfits. Like hair, a character's clothes will communicate a huge amount about their personality and will affect their silhouette. For some artists, this step will be really easy, but if you struggle to know what clothes to pick, maybe consider looking at a fashion blog. Look at what the models are wearing and try to imagine that they're a character. What do you think that person is like based on their style? Better yet, try to notice people around you. See what they're wearing and wonder what their clothes might say about them. Of course, oftentimes clothes might not say that much about someone. They may not have thought about what they're wearing very deeply. A character in fiction is a different beast though, and is under the scrutiny of readers who will subconsciously absorb everything about a character that you give them. If you haven't thought about your character's outfit, you might actually be sending out confusing signals about who your character is without realising that you're doing it. Make sure you get ahead of that in design so that you can feed the audience the information that you want them to take in. Your character's attitude should come across clearly in their stances and expressions. Implement a characteristic pose into your earliest design sketches and it will help to demonstrate where and how you can push your characters design-wise to better showcase their attitudes. For instance, if a character is stooping and looking glum all the time, sketching them that way as you design them might give you a better idea for where to put pockets, for instance. It could affect how baggy you want to make their top to best emphasise that pose too. Pairing poses and expressions that might contrast the sort of outfit you've given your character can be interesting too. As an example, someone looking anxious in a very flashy, attention-grabbing outfit could suggest that they've tried to step outside of their comfort zone with the clothes they've chosen, but are regretting it now that they're out in the town and getting attention. A lot of thinking goes into these steps, and making them all work together can be tricky and time-consuming. But if you get it right, you can make a character who feels iconic. When you can find a character like that, you can bring a story to life in a really special way and get much more attention from your readers. People want to read about characters who intrigue them, so try your best to design a character who triggers that interest in them. For seasoned character designers, these tips will seem pretty basic, but if you haven't considered them before, you'll see how much they can improve your designs when combined together. I hope you'll give them a try. Do let me know if you find them useful. Now that's all the tips I have this time, but thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.